Nasus, aka Susan. Who the hell is Susan? What the f is a Susan? You can't just go from Nasus to Susan. You can't be like a super ascended warrior, ascended mortal, or whatever. And Susan?
Yo, if we get to 100,000 subscribers by the time the year is over, I will shave my beard off and wear no do-rag for 3 entire months.
It's time to check out some more NECRIT. I'm checking out, finally, the story of a League of Legends Explained. Dropped 5 years ago, man. So I'm ready to get into the lore. But for 5 years, though, now I think about it, I'm missing out on 5 years of, I guess additional League of Legends lore. Maybe if there's an updated video or something like that on YouTube for the League of Legends lore, y'all could point me to it in the comment section, or what else you guys want me to check out League of Legends lore related. Yeah, I'm enjoying my time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more League of Legends reactions, more NECRIT recommendations, you know. But yeah, man, without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah, like recons.
Questions I get asked are: is the lore of League of Legends good? To which I say that we have a lore channel with over 500 videos.
It sounds. Man, look how far. 5 years, man. He's was at 291. Now he's what, 800? Yeah, 867. My goodness.
Like the story. And I want to read the story, but I don't know where to start. And that is a very hard question to answer, because quite frankly, you can start anywhere you want. All of Riot's stories are written in a way where no matter what story you read, all of the information you need to understand it is somehow put in there. For example, if you are interested in Ionia, you can read about any champion in any order you want. But some characters talk about certain events more than others. Some champions like Riven or Master Yi explain the Noxian
Master
chemical
Yi?
warfare, but
Riven sounds familiar. I don't think I've heard about Master Yi. It's the first time I heard that mentioned.
They still at least mention the main battle at the Placidium. Other champions like Irelia or Karma explain the main battle at
and I know there's like a lot of characters I've never heard of.
So basically, all the stories contain all the information you need, so you are never left confused. But I understand.
Ooh, Void. Bilgewater. Okay. Bandle City. The hell is Bandle City? I've heard of that.
Simply telling you that you can read whatever you want is not a good answer. After all, League of Legends does
Bandle City is where the Yordles be at?
Have its main storyline. Despite there being more than 145 champions, all with their own unique stories, there is an
How many champions we at now? They said 135, right? 5 years ago?
All with their not a good answer. After all, League of Legends does have its main storyline. Despite there being more than 145 champions.
No, 45. We're over like 200 now, right?
Stories, there is an overarching plotline that serves as the real story above all the others. And today, we will talk about exactly that. It wasn't an easy task, but I managed to put together the complete story of the main events that affected the universe of League of Legends. The way I did it was simple.
And Morgana looks tough.
All the information you're about to hear can be found in various stories and champion
Blood
bios.
of Noxus. Oh yeah, I need that Noxus lore.
Journal logs in other games, League is also hiding tiny pieces of information in places you wouldn't expect. You can actually get a lot of new hidden information by cross-referencing different champion stories. The way it works is that you usually have 2 champions from the other side of the world pointing at different mysteries. But when you realize that they are actually pointing at the same thing, you discover something massive. So with all of that said, keep in mind that the story of Runeterra can still get expanded upon. So in the future, some of the things we mentioned here may be already explained and things might be slightly different. In fact, I would say that about 15% of this
look at them,
video
they're like
is
some
sourced
cool
from
guys.
these tiny pieces of information. However, what I'm about to show you right
Holy
now
shit.
is still the closest thing
The
we
art
can
is cool.
get to covering the entire storyline of League of Legends. But enough about unnecessary explanations. Finally, without further ado, let's get into the main storyline
Let's
of
go!
League of Legends.
Let's go!
Let's start at the very, very beginning. In the ages before time was even a concept, there was nothing. Or at least that's what the things inside the nothing thought. You see, since the beginning of time, there were always the Watchers. They are these nightmarish shapeless creatures that drifted in the absolute darkness of the universe. The thing is that the universe was so dark and empty, the Watchers themselves didn't even know they existed.
They call it Watchers, but they ain't watching a goddamn thing if it's dark.
There was nothing to see and nothing to feel.
Ain't watching
there was
shit.
nothing to show them that they actually lived. But that
Did it
all
just wink at me?
changed when a tiny spark of light appeared in the empty cosmos. Suddenly, the Watchers realized they could see. Not only that, they realized that they are conscious beings with senses. Just like that, the spark of light woke up the Watchers from their eternal sleep. Naturally, the Watchers were quite annoyed at the tiny spark. Up until now, everything was peaceful and quiet. But this spark was blinding them, and it was ruining their slumber. When they drifted closer to inspect the light, the Watchers found out that the tiny spark was in fact a window into reality. Inside the reality, dragons of twilight, cosmic beings, and even death
Dragons of Twilight.
itself came.
Death itself. What is that? What is that? That's death? What is that? I ain't gonna lie, buddy at the bottom right, like chill. He just sit around and drink. Is that like a gourd?
And they roamed around the empty space. Some, like Aurelion Sol, spread light around. They left little pieces of themselves behind, which created stars. And with a little help from cosmic dust, planets formed around these stars. The absolute majority of these newborn worlds were empty, but sometimes there was life. The one planet that we know about is Runeterra. Now, Runeterra wasn't shaped by accident.
Runeterra is a planet? I don't know why I kind of thought it was like an overall like a region that is included like with countries in it. That is like just like a big like region of the planet. I didn't thought it was the entire planet.
The Celestials created this world with the use of the world runes, hence the name Runeterra. But while that was happening, the Watchers observed it all from afar. It didn't take long before the celestial beings became aware of them.
Oh, we're the Watchers. Oh shit.
Was overlooking their realm, and they knew it was more powerful than anything in their reality. Now, don't take this information for granted. Technically, it should be considered a theory, but it is believed that the Celestials created Runeterra to host an army of powerful beings that would defend reality against the Watchers. This was never directly confirmed, but as you'll see from the rest of the story, that is highly likely what happened here. Anyway, the planet was created and the Celestials were paying close attention to its development. This is likely the time when Ornn, Anivia, Volibear, and the Seal Sister appeared on Runeterra.
Wait, what? The Volibear old as hell on Volibear old as shit?
It is theorized that the Celestials put them there to terraform the planet. The only thing that we get confirmed is that according to his legend, Ornn did actually shape the mountains of Freljord. However, after a mysterious disaster, the world runes that created this world were lost and scattered across the same planet. This is likely the reason why Runeterra is a magical world full of spirits. It is likely because the world runes slowly radiated magic into the surrounding lands. Millennia passed and life started blooming on Runeterra. First, it was Yordles, Animus, and the Vastaya Shirei who started appearing on the...
I'm sorry. What in the fuck did you just say? I'm sorry. What the f...
blooming on Runeterra. First, it was Yordles, Animus, and the Vastaya Shirei.
Animus... Nah, bruh. Subtitles? It sounded like he was naming a name. It was like a name of a Yordle or something.
First, it was Yordles, Animus, and the Vastaya Shirei who...
And the...
started appearing on the ocean floor.
Animals and the Vastia Shirei. Vastia Shirei. And the Vastia Shirei. What the fuck is the Vastia Shirei?
But humans later joined them.
Oh, Vastia are animal people. Okay. The furries. Okay.
Then when they started covering the surface.
Damn, they that old too, man? Shit.
But humans later joined them when they started covering the surface. This was very important to the Celestials. As mortals began emerging, the Celestials started fiddling with their lives. In fact, according to the Celestials, they had some kind of grand design for the mortals. The story specifically avoids telling us what the design was, but at least we know that living beings had a purpose. The evolution of life wasn't an accident. To strengthen the relationship between the Celestials and the mortals of Runeterra, the Celestials did two things. First, they created star constellations. These were images that served as messages to guide mortals to their intended purpose. It was an easy way to communicate with them.
Yeah, communicate.
Second,
okay, I see.
The Celestials created Mount Targon. An interesting fact is that the mountain was literally ripped from the ground. It is as if someone pinched the earth and pulled it up. That's why it is much steeper than any other mountain. Also, you may notice that a lot of the mountain surface is covered in ice. Partially, it is because it is really cold up there. But it's also because as the mountain was being pulled up, it was also dragging lakes and rivers with it.
What the fuck?
Frozen lakes
what? That's fucking crazy.
Stuck to the mountain. In the end, Mount Targon was a pretty successful invention. It served as a beacon of godly light and magic that attracted beings from all over the world. The more advanced mortals even formed their own civilization around its peak.
Shit, I would have. I would have. I mean, I would have been cold as a motherfucker over there, but yeah, that's what I would. I've been trapping out right there. Yeah. Vastia Shirai is different though. They are an old extinct people. They're an extinct furry people. Yo, Max, is going on? That was lead quite well. It's great to watch. I appreciate that. I'm happy you're enjoying the videos.
Which gave them a deeper connection with the celestial realm. And after some time, few of the most trusted individuals were elevated by the Celestials, specifically by the Celestial aspects, creating the very first ascended beings.
Ooh.
But the Celestials weren't the only ones who were strengthening their control over the life on Runeterra. The Watchers
Whoa, no,
were
wait,
doing
the Watchers.
same.
The Watchers
They were
is,
carefully
wait, what?
poking holes into reality, gathering any information about what the reality is, and more specifically, how can they get rid of it. The Celestials know
What about other
these
planets?
holes in realities that we know as void drifts, and they quickly moved to the next stage of controlling Runeterra. Now it was about this time when Aurelion Sol flew by and he noticed how much the life
Oh, that thing is so tough, bruh. That shit is so clean.
Terra. Now it was about this time when Aurelion Sol flew by and he
Aurelion
noticed
Sol.
how much the life on Runeterra bloomed. And when he got closer, he noticed that all the tiny mortals looked up at him, and they worshipped him. Now this Aurelion didn't mind at all, and he often came back to visit Runeterra between his journeys into the dark. At one point, the mortal community up on the mountain, who were now known as the Targonians, offered Aurelion Sol a crown. Aurelion of course appreciated the gesture of gratitude, and he happily put it on. But as he did that, he willingly chained himself to the planet, because the crown bound Aurelion to the will of the ascended Targonians. Aurelion Sol was now
Whoa.
enslaved.
Damn,
We don't
nigga
really know
got
if it was just
duped.
the Targonians who did this on their own, or if it was a plan of the celestial beings to enslave Aurelion Sol. But either way, the reason why
Why would the other Celestials? I thought they were working together. Damn.
Aurelion Sol was enslaved was because he was powerful enough to seal the void drifts. He was an effective weapon against the grand
against
enemy.
yeah.
Aurelion had a massive ego and he couldn't care less about the lives of mortals. So that's why he had to be forced to properly help the reality.
Okay.
At this point, the Watchers were
Get to
at their
work, boy.
limits. They wanted to learn more about Runeterra, but they were massive, and the rifts were tiny. The Watchers
So the Watchers probably like created like somebody or a group of people to do that for them and report maybe somehow.
simply couldn't fit through. But it didn't take them too long to figure out that all they needed to do was to reach a mortal being and control it.
yeah.
If they corrupted something and sent it out, they could use it as a spy. So
Yeah.
the way the Watchers gathered more information more effectively was by sending out horribly morphed beings to devour other beings and gather their information.
That's
the
fucked
reason
up.
why information is so important to the Watchers is because they could easily use it as a weapon against Runeterra. The more they learn about how living beings are constructed and what living beings are the strongest, the more powerful Voidborn creatures they can create and release through the
Void-born creatures. Oh, damn. Void-born.
rifts. But the Watchers realized that deconstructing and recreating beings is not the only way to win this war. Up in Freljord, they were playing a different game. They managed to slowly corrupt the mind of an individual that almost doomed the entire planet. Of course, we're
Nice,
talking about
nice
Lissandra.
Freljord. Oh,
Lissandra was
Lissandra.
one of the three sisters that
Wait, Lissandra likes that? Them doing that almost doomed the planet? Oh, what the fuck? Damn.
ruled Freljord. Of course, we're talking about Lissandra. Lissandra was one of the three sisters that ruled Freljord, the second most powerful region at that time, right after Targon.
After
The three
Dargon,
sisters
okay.
were Lissandra, Cyrilda, and Avarosa.
Why
And
do they
all
look
of
like
them
that?
were drawn to celestial magic. Cyrilda wanted to command the celestial heavens, but for her arrogance, she lost her voice to the first twilight. Avarosa witnessed the twisting dark overlooking the world, and she was deafened by its complete emptiness.
Damn.
Lissandra disrespected the wild magic of Runeterra, and as her punishment, she was blinded by Voli.
Damn.
Together, one blind, one deaf, and one mute, the three sisters ruled Freljord. Since she was blind, Lissandra had to rely
disabilities.
on her hearing and delving into dreams. This meant that over time her hearing was so good she could hear what others could not. Voices that echoed through the fabric of reality.
Damn,
Unfortunately,
what the
she
fuck?
didn't know is that it was the Watchers who slowly corrupted her. Years passed and Lissandra now fully trusted the Watchers. But she didn't dare tell her sisters about them. In secret, Lissandra even struck a deal with the Watchers. The Watchers would give her people near immortality. This power of immortality is what created the Iceborn, who are basically
The
Freljordians touched by
Iceborn.
the power of the Void.
They're
And
nearly
in return,
immortal, though.
all the Watchers wanted was
What is nearly immortal? What does that mean? Like, okay, maybe like, I don't know, regen of body parts or some shit. Like, I guess. Maybe regen of body parts except like your head and heart or something. I don't know.
Safe place to rest when they visit their world. To Lysandra, this was an offering she couldn't decline, and so she accepted the terms on her sister's behalf. More years later, when the Freljord was ready for the Watchers, without a warning, they started emerging from the abyss.
Oh,
revealing
fuck.
Lysandra's hidden allegiance. Unfortunately, their horrible twisted forms were not what Lysandra expected, and she realized the grave mistake she had made.
Oh, nah, bro. She realized it was a mistake after witnessing how ugly them joints was. So, oh, fuck. God damn. No. I made a horrible mistake. Jesus Christ. Hell no.
She invited the end itself to their world. At this point, Lysandra had two options. Let the world be consumed, or sacrifice everything she had ever had. And so, using her Iceborne powers, Lysandra managed to freeze everything and everyone who was present, killing Sarilda and Avarosa.
Damn!
This is how a couple of Watchers got frozen in the Howling Abyss.
Wait, what? Lysandra's actually like, I thought I would assume that wouldn't affect the Watchers at all, because, you know, they're Watchers, I guess.
After this defeat, the Watchers retreated, but not without new information. Many decades later, on the other side of the world, the war against the Void took another.
Damn, didn't he also say like potentially in the MMO, Lysandra would be like a boss fight too, right? Like could potentially be a boss fight. Damn, man, Lysandra about to take my cheeks, and I'll voluntarily give them shit to her, bro. No doubt. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Another turn. Even though Targon had Aurelion Sol under their control, and they dealt with all the easily accessible rifts, sometimes they had to deal with smaller tears in reality that couldn't be accessed by a massive celestial dragon. That's why the Celestials had to nudge mortals to start a new empire. This time, more to the east. Under the guidance of the Celestials, the new Shuriman Empire began
Shurima, okay.
in Nerimazeth.
So Shurima was built to handle these smaller rifts that Celestials are too big to handle.
This disc, they attempted to channel celestial powers into their chosen soldiers. But the new Shuriman Empire began constructing a massive disc in Nerimazeth. Using this disc, they attempted to channel celestial powers into their chosen soldiers. But the experiment failed and the disc was destroyed. Later, they made another attempt at this more to the east. This time they constructed a much bigger sun disc that would create super soldiers capable of fighting back the Void. These soldiers would get many different names. God Warriors, Golden Warriors, Sunborn, but we know them as Shuriman Ascended. Here we need to mention three very important individuals that play a big role in this war. Azir became the greatest leader of the Empire and the grand leader of the Ascended. He was loved by pretty much everyone, but keep in mind that he was still a human.
Is that him? Tough. Oh my god, bro, that art clean.
The wisest of
Ooh, Gnosis? Yeah, Gnosis. Oh, Gnosis like code.
The Ascended. His knowledge of war tactics would become irreplaceable. And the third important character is Setaka. She became the war commander of the Ascended host. And she...
The war commander or world commander?
She was the deadliest of all the Ascended.
Wait,
as the Empire was growing and the number of their god warriors was expanding, other nations became suppressed. And some even feared the unstoppable army of Shurima.
Hell yeah, I would too.
Was the kingdom of Ikathia.
What about Freljord though?
Their leader, the infamous Mage King, had enough of cowering before their might. So he went to war against Azir. Now the Mage King knew his small kingdom of mages would not stand a chance against the Ascended.
I'm about to say, bro, they built a little different, nigga. They built a little different. They a little too strong for you to handle. Nasus, aka Susan. Who the fuck is Susan? Who the hell is Susan? What the fuck is a Susan? You can't just go from Nasus to Susan. You can't go like a super ascended warrior, ascended mortal, or whatever, and nigga, Susan? Oh, so y'all just call it backwards, just Susan. It's the better name. Nah, Nasus is better than. All right, calling that motherfucker Susan is crazy. So put a respect on that ascended name.
He called upon a power greater than what the Sun Disk could offer. He called upon the Void.
Oh, the Void. Oh, God. Oh, that looked crazy.
And after hundreds of years of observing, the Watchers had another chance to silence all reality. Using their previously gathered knowledge, the Watchers corrupted everything they touched, and they created new Voidborn abomination the world had never seen. This was a war on a scale nobody expected. But after many sacrifices, including Setaka, who died while being torn apart by this abomination,
oh my God,
the Ascended won, but at a great cost. Not only was the rift in Icathia so big that even today it is still not fully sealed,
What?
but most of those who survived were permanently marked by the void. Before this battle, the Watchers have never even seen a god warrior before, so they weren't able to fully corrupt anyone. But their mark was enough to leave a tiny whispering voice in everyone's mind. Thankfully, even though their war commander Setaka was dead, Azir and Nasus remained untouched by the void, and they kept all the void-touched warriors under control. Of course, it didn't stay that way forever. Zerath, Azir's slave, who was also his best friend and a guide.
Azeroth? Azir? Did you say Azir's best friend and slave? Those two things can't coexist.
Saw him as a forever. Zerath, Azir's slave, who was also his best friend and a guide, saw him as a naive emperor. Everyone saw Azir as a kind-hearted leader, but there were still countless slaves dying under his rule. Now, secretly, Azir was planning to free all—
What the fuck are those big? They got, is that houses living on the side of these things, man? These big ass buffalo bison joints, bruh. Oh no, no, never mind. Those must be like the supplies or some shit. It's a big ass supply box or something. This shit huge as fuck though.
all the slaves on the day of his ascension. It was meant to be a big surprise to everyone, including Zerath. But when the day arrived, Zerath became jealous of the power Azir would get. So Zerath pushed Azir from the Ascension sunlight, and he drained all the power of the Sun Disk himself. This led to Azir's death and the destruction of the
this
But
is
what's worse, it
down.
also left all the Void-touched Ascended without a leader.
Yeah,
to
without a
keep them under
leader.
control.
Yeah, so
The only one who could do something about this was Nasus.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
wise, but more importantly, he was not touched by the Void. However, keeping so many corrupted Ascended in line was an impossible task even for him. And eventually, it was so
Damn.
dangerous, Nasus had to go into hiding. This meant that the Ascended warriors, now without a leader or purpose, and with tingling void whispers in their minds, went absolutely insane. Instead of being seen as godly beings, the Ascended slowly turned into brutal warlords. They fought each other, sometimes to gain more power, sometimes to settle their differences. Eventually, they figured out how to control the whispers in their mind, and they created a brand
What?
new kind of magic.
What? Blood magic?
which
Ah,
they used to reshape and
shit.
improve their bodies.
And
Soon,
weapons
the
and
Ascended
stuff?
warriors were known as the Darkin, and this
The
era would become known as the
Darkin.
Great Darkin War.
Oh,
During
fun.
these
That's
times,
tough.
the entire world was in conflict, as the Darkin conquered as much land for themselves as they could. While all of this was happening, the Celestials watched it
So
all.
they're not like bound by the void or anything now, right? So they gotta. So this is all just like free will. They just doing this shit just to do it, right? That's what it kind of sounds like. They're not like bound by the you know the voices of like the Watchers or anything like that.
as much land for themselves as they could. While all of this was happening, the Celestials watched it all. Their warriors who were supposed to fight back the Void were now fighting each other, and they
Yeah.
were more dangerous to the mortals than the Watchers themselves. So the Celestials had to remove them. The simplest way to do so was to send the aspect of Twilight to Shuriman.
Ooh.
There she would teach mortals
Aspect
how
of
to seal the
Twilight.
Darkin inside their weapons. It took a couple of years, but in the end, the
Oh,
surviving
you helped them out.
Shurimans
I thought you were
together
gonna
with the
just.
Targonian
You're just gonna wipe them
sealed
out.
all the remaining Darkin. And finally, the world saw peace again. For a while, anyway. If we look back at what just happened, this entire Shuriman experiment was a massive loss for the Celestials.
Yeah,
They
big ass
wanted to
loss.
have an army to fight the Void, but instead
They
they
got
ended
corrupted
up with
and
the
ended up
biggest
killing each
void
other.
rift they have ever seen. So the Celestials needed an entirely new plan.
Mm-hmm.
But before they could figure something out, mortals took their fate into their own hands. Possibly in the worst way
Wait,
imaginable.
what? Oh
You see,
shit.
Now that the Darkin were gone and the world was left in utter ruins, even the simplest man could become a king by simply scavenging whatever he could. And that's exactly what came
Ah,
next. The
motherfuckers
Age
went
of
looking.
Men. The
The
first
Age
to
of
step out was
Man.
Mordekaiser. He was a
A
brutal warlord king
Mordekaiser. I recall the name. Maybe it was because I was watching like Fatal play TFT or some shit like that. Maybe I can't remember. Who the fuck is Mordekaiser again?
who easily swept across Valoran and conquered the entire continent. Only when
Oh,
the rest of the
conqueror.
world united against him was his dark reign ended. Fast forward a couple of years and the world was simply at war again. But this war was unlike any other. Remember when the Celestials lost the world runes at the beginning of the story?
Yeah.
Well, mortals began uncovering them. Random
Finding them
mages
shits.
around the world held stones with the power to create worlds.
Oh, was the World Stones in that? Was the World Stones related to those? It might be completely different. It's probably something different. But were those the little different color things that bald blue nigga was like had on him? Or is that something completely different? I want to say that's something completely different. But I do remember y'all saying like in lore he's like one of the strongest, and it was due to that like that stone or something that he had power over, but he couldn't control it or something. So, oh, it is. Oh shit. Oh damn.
Pretty much the equivalent to around the world held stones with the power to create worlds. It was pretty much the equivalent to holding a nuke. This sounds scary, but everything was fine as long as people were just threatening to fire the nukes. But
yeah, until they just run across the one wrong young nigga. Until they run across the wrong YN. They run across the wrong YN that just want to turn this shit the fuck up. Yeah. Who's the YN that's gonna set this bitch off, bro? Who's the YN that's gonna set this bitch off, bro?
once the first nuke was fired, the second followed.
Oh shit! Oh wait, hold on. Oh shit!
But once the first nuke was fired,
oh
the
fuck!
followed, and then the third and the fourth. While the Celestials were trying to come up with a plan, mortals literally set the world on fire.
Motherfuckers, this, oh, there it is. This is the shot. Oh fuck!
This conflict became known as the Rune Wars.
The Rune Wars.
Sometimes Celestials managed to calm down some of the conflicts. Usually, this was done with the help of the Targonian aspects, or with the help of Bard. Bard is a Celestial who specifically comes down on Runeterra to take powerful magical items away from mortals, just so they wouldn't use them in another war.
How many Celestials is there? Who the fuck is Bard? How many Celestials are there? I thought there was like 3. I think. Maybe 4.
And we saw Bard was during the battle for Bard Mountain in Ionia.
Bard
Mountain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that.
Create more constellations to show people more messages. But at this point, mortal minds were too primitive, and they usually thought it was signs of doom. But sometimes, even mortal
start seeing signs in the sky with the stars and shit. Nah, nigga, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the fucking world. That shit doesn't even look right, bro. Why is it shaped like that? Yo, oh, fuck no. Oh, hell no, bro. We're dying.
On the Blessed Isles, it was signs of doom. But sometimes, even mortals helped. On the Blessed Isles, there was a cult of mages dedicated to collecting the world runes.
Oh, that's him. Oh, okay.
To hide them away from other
okay.
But even that didn't help.
What's his name again?
In the end, during this era, the most powerful nations were wiped out. In the east, only Noxus remained, after they wiped out their neighbors. Yes, this circle you see here is actually a crater. There was supposed to be another nation here. And in the west, Demacia was built as a purely anti-magic nation. We know that there are a couple of nations between them. For example, the Arbormar Kingdom. But we don't know much else. This is where the modern lore of League of Legends begins. So if we have a look at the
modern lore begins?
The world right now. The Watchers are constantly looking for a way to invade Runeterra because they are annoyed by its existence. The north is hiding a massive void rift frozen beneath the holding abyss. The south has a massive void rift still open there. Not big enough to fit a Watcher through, but big enough to spawn a void army. The western and eastern Valoran is at war, the entire Shuriman continent is mostly in ruins, and the Blessed Isles blew up. Only Ionia is somewhat decently holding.
And the Blessed Isles blew up. And the Blessed Isles, yeah, that shit blew up.
It together. The western and eastern Valoran is at war, the entire Shuriman continent is mostly in ruins, and the Blessed Isles blew up. Only Ionia is somewhat decently holding it together, but Noxus had to screw them up too. Remember when I mentioned that the Celestials had mortals as a part of a bigger design? Again, the Celestials likely created mortal beings to use them all as soldiers in this galactic war.
Yeah,
well, whatever purpose mortals were supposed to have, it is far beyond the Celestial control now.
Bro, that shit looks so clean. What the hell are these, bro? Oh my god, this shit looks so tough. Wait, what? Aurelion Sol? Oh, wait, were you responding to 3 serials as champions, but they are more, pretty sure. Oh, okay. Varus, Kane, and Aatrox. Oh, the sword? Is Aatrox the sword, right? Dog, this nigga looks so tough.
It is far beyond the Celestial control now. So now, you may be wondering, what happens next? Well, the main
where's part 2?
A number of ways.
Where's the part 2?
We can learn more about the world runes through the vault in Demacia. Or maybe the Watchers will try to get through the rift in the north. Or the Darkin will try to make a comeback and the Celestials will have to deal with them again. Riot created a playground where they can do a lot of different things. Just remember, it really doesn't matter where you begin to read. Every champion and every story makes sense on its own, so you can't get lost. If you ask me, Start with
You know what's crazy? I really thought that this video was gonna be, or should be. I thought it was gonna be long as hell. I thought it was gonna be like 2 hours at least. Maybe NECRIT has another like video that's like 2 hours or something, or something like that. How powerful are champions according to lore? Oh.
stories found on Silas's page. He's a great champion for entering the new lore. He will get you right into the newest conflict. And right after that, maybe have a look at Udyr. I think he will surprise you too. But
damn, that art looks so clean.
no matter what you decide to do, just have fun and go for whatever you are interested in. The days of bad lore are gone, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Hey, did you know?
Damn, bruh. This is a dope ass video for real. I guess it's like a good starter video. It is 5 years, but you know, I'm waiting for more, dog. I'm fiending for more. I'm actually fiending for more. I remember people dropping in the comments that Star Guardian has some lore to it. I was asking when I was watching. I was like, there's no way there's like no lore tied to the Star Guardian stuff that I'm seeing, these cinematics and stuff. But yeah. Damn. Let me know down in the comment section what I should check out next, what NECRIT video I should check out next. I mean, I really fuck with his videos. They're very easily understand it. You know, it's easy to understand for real. So, I'm down to check out some other League of Legends content creators if they're lore related and stuff. So, catch you guys later.